You can think of the 16 key factors as the nuts and bolts, or components, the mechanism behind attitude. All 16 of these key factors are essential. Many of them are deceptively simple, and it's easy to underestimate their effectiveness. Individually, each one is a powerful tool. However, their collective strength is unleashed when they're all integrated and used together. It's tempting to just cherry-pick the ones that initially appeal to you, but if you do this, you'll be limiting the potential benefits. The 16 key factors are unspecific. They can be applied to anything in life, bringing significant improvement or fundamental capability to whatever you choose to do. So, for example, if you're a bank robber and you want to get better at robbing banks, here you are. Not that we're encouraging criminal activity. Okay, let's look at each of these key factors. Meaning and purpose is the first one. Everything flows from the source of whatever meaning and purpose you choose. At the lower end, there's little to no meaning or purpose, resulting in I don't care. In the mid-range, there's concern for yourself, family and friends, which influences your attitude to work and leisure, bringing varying degrees of stability and ambition. At the top end of this scale, there's a wider concern for global problems and social justice. This can potentially develop into a deeper level of meaning and purpose, but only when other key factors combine to add practical capability. The second key factor is values. What kind of code or benchmarks are best for life? What are your core principles? These help define who you are, or at least who you want to be. Whatever values you choose, it's important to be consistent, because this results in integrity. And if you haven't got integrity, then what's the point of having values? As Shakespeare famously said, "This above all, to thine own self be true." And he also urged, "Be just and fear not." Vision is the third key factor. Vision is the best you can imagine, a goal for the future, including a map or plan for the way forwards. It's expectation. The depth or scale of this vision is prompted by whatever meaning and purpose you've chosen. The next one is opportunity and hard work. Opportunity has to be appreciated, identified, and grasped. It's worth repeating this. Opportunity has to be appreciated, identified, and grasped. Then a lot of hard work is needed to make the dream come true. Hunger is the fifth key factor. It's a curiosity or hunger for learning, which produces a zest for living. This acts like the on-off switch for what is often thought of as motivation. The best form is error-focused learning as it speeds up development. Facing reality is the sixth key factor. Realism is crucial if you want to get anywhere real. A down-to-earth acceptance of reality is the starting point for changing it. Denial, delusion, or blind hope won't get you anywhere worthwhile, just in more of a mess. Avoidance doesn't work. Facing reality might possibly sting a bit initially, but it won't hurt you if you do it in a constructive way. It's actually a helpful thing to do, and it gets easier with practice. The spirit of an adventurer comes next. Staying safe hinders the development of your potential. To grow, you have to be willing to have a go, even though you might fall flat on your face early on. Who Dares Wins expresses this aspect of attitude. But, on its own, courage can be reckless, so needs to be linked with other key factors, such as facing reality. The eighth key factor is be prepared. In essence, this is a state of readiness to do the right thing at the right time. Be prepared. Simple, but extremely effective when fully utilised. Like with all the other key factors, please don't underestimate the power of this. Never give up is the ninth key factor. Quitters don't win, they quit. A fighter will succeed after others have dropped out. Stickability, perseverance, struggle. If you want to achieve anything worthwhile, it'll take a lot of effort. So never, never, never give up. The 10th key factor is inquiry. This is a deliberate process of investigation or examination to trigger additional understanding. It begins with a question that needs to be answered. If you just focus on yourself or restrict your concern to family and friends, there'll be limits. You need to go beyond and think about the wider world. Service before self, the 11th key factor, has rightly been suggested for a long time, but it's being forgotten in our self-centred modern world. Me, take, keeps you small and doesn't really make you fulfilled. Yes, service before self involves sacrifice, but it massively increases engagement. When you understand the huge benefits of need before want, the best way forwards becomes obvious. You'll grow and become part of the bigger world. So take less and actively give more, preferably much more. The 12th key factor is appropriateness and preferences. This healthy combination provides an advanced alternative to the more limited I want more form of desire. It goes beyond self-obsession. It's based on the practical principle of need before want and takes into consideration the wider world beyond me. First, you work out what's the most appropriate thing to do. Personal choice comes second, within what's fitting. The need for an anti-hypocrisy test, and this is the 13th key factor, is a must if you're going to break through self-deception. People commonly talk the talk, but fail to consistently walk the walk. Avoidance assists in the normalisation of this dishonest state. So you need to burst the bubble. Actions speak louder than words is the anti-hypocrisy test for challenging duplicity. Picture building is the 14th key factor. The ability to link is essential so as to bring together all the various strands of understanding. It's similar to assembling a jigsaw puzzle, piece by piece. Linking also offers the advantage of bringing together all of the 16 key factors, thereby maximising their overall effectiveness. The 15th key factor is perspective and approach. This is a useful reminder of your vision and to prompt a can-do attitude. If you crash, go back to the start line, reboot, and refresh your perspective and approach. Last but not least is scale. The 16th key factor. You can easily underestimate the vast scale of human potential and what this involves. You need to think big, but also pay attention to precise detail. Scale is the key to all keys. It needs to be applied to each of the other key factors to maximise their efficacy. So that's a brief introduction to all 16 key factors. In our next film, we'll look at avoidance in a bit more detail, because that's what threatens to frustrate change.